Hello everyone, welcome to Vihawk, your one-stop shop for all things sports. My name is Natedaman YT, or just Natedaman. I'm joined today by my fellow co-host, Spry Sheep. And today, we have the third best playoffs in all of sports. The NBA playoffs, only behind the NFL and NCAA men's tournament. And everyone's favorite. We just got done with the playing
Everyone's
game.
favorite.
Yeah, we got the playing games. We got the Pelicans and the Atlanta Hawks, aka Trae Young with a bunch of scrubs. And so we're gonna be going through and trying to pick out who's gonna win. So, all right, let's start pretty easy. Phoenix Suns and Pelicans. Who's gonna win?
This is a really tough one, guys. I'm gonna have to go with. Honestly, I think that New Orleans is going to take one game, but Phoenix does take the rest.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. Phoenix already has a 1-0 lead, so I think Phoenix in 5. I think the Pelicans will be able to squeak out one by some dumb luck. But it's the Suns.
It's gonna be like a low-scoring game. And they're just gonna eke out the win with Jonas.
It'd have to require Booker and Paul and just everyone Ayton to be off their game. I don't see the Suns doing it for more than one game. So yeah, Phoenix in 5. Next we have Dallas and Utah. Luka Doncic has been out, and it doesn't look like he's going to come back for Game 2. That's been the big issue with Dallas. If they have Luka, I say they beat the Jazz. But without Luka, Dallas is not that good of a roster to beat the powerhouse that is Utah. You know, Utah obviously they got a great roster over there. It's just I don't see them unless Luka comes back for Game 3. I just don't see it. I do think the Mavs will be able to take one game, kind of like the Pelicans. But unless Luka comes back, I think this is the end of the line for Dallas. So, actually, let's say
this is interesting.
I'm going to say Utah in 6 because maybe Luka will come back and be able to snag like a game or two. So I'm going to say Utah in 6 actually. But
if Luka comes back eventually in this series, it's over for the Jazz. Well, I think that Brunson and Hardaway can hold them back for at least a few games, maybe snag one before Luka comes back, and then Luka leads them to a few wins. Mavs in 6.
Ooh, okay. I like the confidence. So the first deviation, I have Utah going in 6. He has Dallas going in 6. Again, this is what it's all about. All right, next we have Golden State and Denver. Is Steph Curry back yet? I don't think he is.
No clue.
I forgot. But the Warriors, ever since Curry got injured a few weeks ago in that game against the Celtics, Golden State has been bad, but they haven't been, Golden State. They do have a 1-0 series lead against Denver though. So, but without Curry, I don't think they're gonna be able to outlast Jokic. Do we have a thing on Steph Curry yet?
So Steph Curry, let me get him up. I think I remember him being out 1 to 2 weeks with a hand injury or something like that.
Yeah, he got injured in a game versus the Celtics. I watched that game actually. So.
He's clear for Game 2.
Okay, so he will be back this next game. Okay. And Golden State, they always have the 1-0 lead. I think this is actually going to be more of a slugfest than anything because at the end of the day, you all play Nikola Jokic, and that's just never easy. So I will say Golden State wins, but I say they win 7. I'm going to say it's going to take them a while, even with Curry back. So
interesting. So I actually have Denver going in 6.
Okay.
Because, Jokic is, the MVP. He's probably going to get a few triple-doubles. He's that good.
This is Jokic we're talking about. He is a top 3 player in the league.
He's got Will Barton and Jamal Murray to back him up. Meanwhile, the Golden State Warriors do have a nice starting lineup.
The Warriors have pretty much most all the important players back. They're gonna have Curry. They're gonna have Thompson. They're gonna have Draymond. Golden State's not in a bad situation. They don't have Kevin Durant like they did a few years ago. But I do say the Warriors still are able to take down Denver, albeit in a 7-game series.
Hot take, Draymond Green is not as good as you lived up to be. He's kind of like Dennis Rodman, gets rebounds, nothing else.
He's the Aussie Cola Dennis Rodman. Yeah, I would agree.
So, I think it's just going to be a carrying job for, like, Jordan Poole, Curry, and Thompson, and, like, Gary Payton, Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins, Otto Porter. They're not going to be able to carry their own weight. Meanwhile, Jokic actually has some help in Aaron Gordon, Will Barton, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., and maybe even Monte Morris if he decides that he wants to show up.
Mm-hmm. I think the big thing is if Klay Thompson can, like, pretty much bring up some of the Klay Thompson we've seen before he got injured, then I think the Warriors will win. But if Klay Thompson doesn't show up, the Warriors aren't going to get anywhere. So, but I do say Golden State, though, still. If they're able to win against Nuggets without Curry, I think they will be able to win with Curry, albeit it will take them a while. So, okay, next we have Memphis and Minnesota. Memphis. How on earth did you lose to Minnesota? Like, that's just not okay. Minnesota's leading the series 1-0. Like, you can't use Ja Morant as an excuse because Ja put up 34 points in that game. Like, you guys are straight lost. And if you're losing to the Timberwolves, that's a bad sign. We've been hearing everywhere that Memphis is a regular season team. I'm not buying that fully, but after that showing against the Wolves, I'm starting to think so. Like, that just shouldn't be happening, right?
Here's my take.
Okay.
So, I think that Karl Anthony Towns is going to have to hard carry this team. Anthony Edwards, he's a, second-year guy. He's not going to be able to step up in the playoffs. And this is, John Morant's first time in the playoffs, I believe.
I think it's the second, actually. I think they had an early exit last year.
Probably. I wasn't following the season for the past 2 years, but I've gotten into it more. John Morant, since he has been in the playoffs before, I think he is more acclimatized or whatever you want to say with that, whatever the word is, acclimated to the intensity of the playoffs. Meanwhile, you got Karl Anthony Towns. I guess you got Pat Bev and D'Angelo Russell. The rest of these guys are nobodies like Jake Lehman and Josh Okogie. Taurean Prince was on the Hawks, and I think they made the playoffs a few times, but he's not going to do anything for the Timberwolves. Are you kidding me? So yeah, I had Memphis sweeping, but then Minnesota won, so I'm gonna have to go with Memphis in 5.
I know, it's crazy because I think in the regular season there was some crazy stat that even without Ja, the Grizzlies went 20-2 or something nonsensical.
18-2,
like that. Yeah, and I'm just like, wow. Like Memphis just has a really solid squad, and Ja's like the whipped cream on top that just makes it the best thing ever. So I do think the Wolves will win another game just because Karl Anthony Towns is that good, but I still say Memphis in 6. So.
Don't sleep on Triple J, Jaren Jackson Jr. He is a young guy who can definitely back up John Morant. Oh. And Dylan Brooks, Adams, Desmond Bane, Brandon Clark. They're all great. They're all great. Memphis has rebuilt very well.
They have done a very good job in rebuilding. I will definitely agree with you there. All right, next we have the Heat and the Hawks. I wonder who's going to win this sucker.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised that the Miami Heat did this well. I didn't know they were the 1 seed until I filled out a bracket.
I did not. I had known I had kind of had in the back of my mind oh yeah, Miami's leading the East, and then they just never stopped leading the East. No one talks about the Heat. They're all like, oh my gosh, look at the Celtics, the Bucks. I'm like, guys, the Heat are the 1 seed. They were in the finals 2 years ago. Why is no one talking about you? It's just the weirdest thing to me. How can you be a number 1 seed and no one cares? You know?
Yeah. Here's my thing with the Miami Heat. I've been playing a lot of Pirtle, which is Wordle, but with NBA players. And I remember there was this one stretch where it was 3 Miami Heat players and I couldn't get either of them because I had no idea that Victor Oladipo, Kyle Lowry, and PJ Tucker were on the Heat.
I mean, yeah, and then you also have on top of that, you have Jimmy Butler, obviously Tyler Hero. It's just a stacked squad over there, yeah. So I think the Heat honestly, I think Trae Young will have a crazy triple double game at one point, but Miami in 5, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with the Miami in 5.
Okay, yeah, we agree on that. The Sixers and the Raptors. Where did the Raptors come from? It just seemed like they were dead in the water earlier in the season. All of a sudden, they just were like, "Roar, we're back with the Raptors, roar." So,
yeah, I mean, looking at the Toronto Raptors, I think they would have a good chance at winning if, Scotty Barnes wasn't a rookie and he had developed more. He is second in Rookie of the Year voting, as predicted by experts. But if Scotty Barnes was better and older and more experienced and been in the playoffs more, Raptors win. But I'm gonna have to go with Philadelphia on this one. They have James Harden, Joel Embiid, and Tyrese Maxey is also pretty good. So while he is a rookie, he's been balling. He's been really balling. As Scotty Barnes has been balling more, but I don't know. I feel like a power forward can't lead a team.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Dirk, but that Kevin Garnett, but that was basically the extent of it.
Yeah. Power forwards are not the leader of teams. The leader of the team is usually a point guard, shooting guard, or a center. So.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it could be a small forward like LeBron or something, but, just anyone except the power forward.
Yeah.
So, alright, so, I just don't think that Toronto has any idea because if they try and go more inside, Harden's gonna shoot the 3 on them. And if they try and go outside, Joel's gonna wreck them all night long. So, I think Philly in 4, I think they're gonna sweep the Raptors, honestly. So
the Raptors are gonna take one game off them, and then
it's just easy for Philadelphia. So, all right. So, the Milwaukee Bucks and the Bulls. The Bulls came out firing at the beginning of the season. They were the top dog, and then they kind of slowed down after the All-Star break. They're still a good team, but they're just not the same team they were at the beginning of the year. Injuries have really done a number on them. You can definitely tell. They're still a solid team, but at the end of the day, you're facing Giannis, and you don't beat Giannis in the playoffs. I don't see the Bulls doing it. I don't think the Bulls are quite ready yet.
So, my take on the Chicago Bulls, I just really don't like them, because DeMar DeRozan. He was balling for the Raptors.
DeRozan, yeah.
He was balling for the Raptors. Goes to the Spurs, does absolutely nothing. Goes to the Bulls, balls out top 10 all-league second team.
Yeah. I do think the Bulls are a solid enough squad, but they are not solid enough to beat the powerhouse that is the Bucks. So I'd say Milwaukee in 6. I do think the Bulls are going to give them some trouble, and I think they're going to steal 2 games, but I don't think that the Bulls are getting too far against Giannis. So
I think that this is going to be a back and forth matchup. I don't think it'll be just back and forth and back and forth. I don't think home advantage will matter at this point because both fan bases. I think Milwaukee is Wisconsin. Chicago's Illinois.
Wisconsin. Yeah.
So yeah, they're really close to each other. So I don't think home team advantage would really matter.
I think it would matter mostly because the fan bases don't particularly like each other because of the close distance. And the Bucks have obviously they won the championship last year, so their fans have been they've been pretty happy. The Bulls, they're the Bulls fan base. They're larger numbers, but loyal is sputtery, I guess. But
So what I'm expecting is a Game 7 situation, at Milwaukee. At Milwaukee. I don't know. And it's like, you know, everyone's cheering, and then Chicago, they can't get any bench points, and all their starters have to carry the load. Meanwhile, Milwaukee is an all-around good team with Serge Ibaka, Snellen.
Middleton, Holiday, Giannis. Just Milwaukee has too many good players for the Bulls to beat them because Milwaukee has a thing called depth, and Chicago does not have depth as well as Milwaukee. I think that's going to be the big
Sure, if
deciding
sixth
factor.
man is Ao Dosunumbo, then there's something wrong.
Exactly. So, yeah. What are you taking? How many games does it take Milwaukee then?
7.
All right,
Game 7, right there.
I got 6 and you got 7. Okay. All right, the Celtics and the Nets. The Nets would be probably like the 4 or 5 seed if Kyrie got to play in New York most of the season. But, because he's Kyrie Irving, and that is not the case. So I think the Brooklyn Nets are heavily underseeded now that Kyrie can play in New York again. The Celtics are a very, very good team. They have done a very good job even through like losing some of their players like Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, at the beginning of the season they were having bad issues with team chemistry and stuff, but they rallied.
They turned around like right before the All-Star break. All of a sudden they just caught fire and they just don't lose anymore. And like they're leading the series 1-0 right now. And I don't think that's good. I think that Brooklyn, because it is Kevin Durant, it is Kyrie Irving. Like obviously they don't have Harden anymore, but like you still gotta realize these are two of the megastars of the NBA, Durant and Irving. And now that Kyrie can play in all the games, I do think that the Boston will win, but Brooklyn's gonna take them to Game 7. So Boston in 7.
All right. So this is what I'm expecting. First a rundown of the Brooklyn Nets. Actually, I'll do Boston first. They for Boston, they've got a lot of good players. Al Horford, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. They've been on the team for a while now.
Marcus Smart, yeah.
Yeah, Marcus Smart as well. Then you got Robert Williams, who rose out of the shadows the latter half of the season, and now they've got a nice starting 5. But a starting 5, that's all they have. They only have 5 players. Their 6 man's Derek White and Grant Williams and Daniel Tice and Aaron Nesmith. And then they just got a bunch of no-names like Matt Ryan.
Wait, legit. Matt Ryan? He plays for the Indianapolis Colts.
No, there's a guy named Matt Ryan in the NBA. He's not great though. He's Brooklyn, however, this is a super team. I'm just saying. Kevin Durant, Seth Curry, highly underrated.
I think, yeah.
Ben Simmons,
I was about
Kyrie.
to mention that, yeah. That Seth Curry has been criminally underrated.
And Andre Drummond, Bruce Brown, LaMarcus Aldridge, Patty Mills, Joe Harris, Nick Claxton, Goran Dragic, Blake Griffin. Those are some nice players right there.
I agree.
And even if Ben Simmons doesn't play in the playoffs,
because he's Ben Simmons.
I still think Drummond, Durant, Curry, Irving can carry the load and take this series in 5.
Oh, okay then. So you got the Nets in 5?
Well, I had the Nets in 4, but then they
lost.
They lost. Yeah, that was a lucky buzzer beater by Jason Tatum.
I mean, it is Jason Tatum, so Jason Tatum, the new Kevin Durant. Anyways, so that's a pretty big variation. You got the Nets going early, and I got the Celtics going late. So, all right, second round of playoffs: Phoenix and Utah. So, I think Phoenix wins because they're Phoenix. I think that's not too controversial, right?
Utah,
because
I also have Dallas.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So but Phoenix wins for sure.
Yeah, in my bracket, yeah, Phoenix wins, and let's say 6 because Mitchell and Gobert be like that, but it's Phoenix. Phoenix don't lose. I mean, the Jazz have kind of been their kryptonite this year from at least when I was watching them, but still, it's Phoenix. They go in 6. So, all right,
My prediction: Phoenix in 5.
Okay, all right, Golden State and Memphis. Oh boy, is this gonna be a fun matchup. So Memphis and Golden State. I think Memphis is going to absolutely beat the ever-living heck out of Golden State. I think that's just going to have to happen, you see. So,
all right. Well, I have Denver winning that game, and I have Memphis winning in 6 because when you look at Nikola Jokic first, you want to look away immediately, but that's besides the point. No hate to him. He could probably beat the crap out of me. Anyways, like I said, Memphis has a nice all-around good team. Kyle Anderson is also, there. They also got a guy named Killian Tilly, and I like saying that name. He's probably not going to play, but still, what a name to say. And then you got Denver, who's also got a nice all-around team.
Mm-hmm.
But they're missing. There's just one guy I feel like is a liability. Bones Highland.
Who?
Bones Highland. He has a chance at starting some of these games over Monte Morris. If they don't want to play Jeff Green or JaMychal Green or DeMarcus Cousins.
Mm-hmm.
So Bones Highland is, I think, a rookie or a second-year guy, and watching him, I just don't see a lot of maturity because he is a rookie. And I think he might be a liability with this nice grizzled veteran squad. I think he's just, if he gets a lot of minutes, it will be a liability. Yeah. So I will have to go with Memphis in 6.
Yeah, I mean, I think compared to Memphis, Golden State since they beat Denver in mine, I think Golden State's a bit too top heavy. I think that will work against a team like Denver, who's also a bit on the top heavier side. But Memphis is too. I think they're more of an all round better unit than the Golden State is. Not by much, but I think the depth on Memphis will allow them to win. Golden State will snag a few games, but still Memphis in 6. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next moving on to the Heat and the Sixers. I don't know what to think, honestly, because I just can't see the Sixers losing, honestly. But again, it is the Heat, so anything could happen. But
now let me bring up something. 3 of these teams went 51-31, and Miami went 53-29. So there's not a huge gap in skill level here, and I think Miami got very lucky throughout an entire run.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
Hot take, Philadelphia sweeps Miami.
Oh, I'm not going to go there, but I'm going to have to agree with you that Philadelphia, I will be it closely, managed to edit out Miami. I think Philly in 7, but because I think the Heat are a very, very good team. But at the end of the day, I think Embiid and Harden are just going to be too much, in my opinion, for the Heat to really handle. So I have Philadelphia going the distance in 7. So.
Also, another way out of here prediction. To win the series, I think Tyrese Maxey is going to make a game-winning 3.
Ooh, okay. Interesting.
In the final game of the series, Tyrese Maxey is going to make a game-winning 3-pointer.
All right.
There you go.
Interesting. Okay. All right. So next we have, for me, Milwaukee and Boston, and for you, Milwaukee and Brooklyn. So, who would win between Milwaukee and Brooklyn for you?
Not even. Well, I guess it's kind of close. It'll probably be the closest matchup of Brooklyn's run, but I do think that they're gonna win in 5.
Ooh.
So
close.
yeah. Yeah. I think you already know who I have winning the entire thing.
I think I could. I think I can predict. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just think Brooklyn is just insanely depth. It just has insane depth, the most depth out of anybody in this in the playoffs by far. Milwaukee, they've got a nice starting five, and they've got Pat Connaughton, Grayson Allen, George Hill backing them up. But other than that, like, it's just meh. And I don't think they just have enough in them to beat Brooklyn and their super team.
Yeah. So since I have the Nets in the early exit to Boston in 7, so mine's Milwaukee and Boston, right? Right here. So These are two teams that are both really good. All right, but I think Milwaukee, because of their more veteran-esque status, will be able to get by them in 6. But I do think Boston's going to put up a heck of a fight. But Milwaukee has the playoff experience that the Celtics don't quite have yet. So I think it's going to be
they have the same record.
They have the same record, sure, but I think the Milwaukee just the more experienced team. If this matchup was taking 3 years down the line, I would say Celtics, but right now I'm taking the Bucks in 6. So, all right, now we have Phoenix and Memphis. Who'd have thought? So I don't know who to pick between these two. Like they're both really, really good teams. What's your thought?
This is my thing. Memphis had 26 losses. Phoenix had 18. I don't know what mind games they're playing on me, but 18, if the loss is in the teens or better, then honestly, it's like really swaying me towards that team because throughout 82 games, they lost 18 of them. 82 divided by 18 is 4.55 repeated. That means they went 4.5 games. Like they wouldn't go 4.5 games before losing one. That's a 4.5 to 1 ratio of wins to losses. And I know that's really mathematical, but if you think about it, that is pretty nice. And then going on to the actual basketball aspect of this, I've praised Memphis a lot throughout this. However, Phoenix, I don't know. Just Phoenix, they don't have the strongest roster, but they've got team synergy and team chemistry. So match that with a strong DeAndre Ayton and D-Book and Chris Paul, you've got yourself a team that's headed to the championship. Phoenix in 6.
I really hate the usual, oh look, the repeating chant, but like Phoenix, it is Phoenix. Like even no matter how well the Grizzlies play, I think the Grizzlies are gonna play really well, but still Phoenix in 7 against them. So, all right, now I have 76ers and Bucks. Who do you have again?
76ers and Brooklyn.
Gotcha. So I think this is a hot take. I think the Sixers are going to beat Milwaukee, at least in mine. I think the Sixers are going to the finals. I might be crazy, but I think it's what's going to happen. It's not going to be an easy win for the Sixers, but right now I'd say Joel will be able to take down Giannis. Again, hot take, I know, but Philly in 7 as well. So, and as for you.
Oh, man, I'm going to turn some heads with this one. Listen, Brooklyn, I can't stop praising them for their overall team build, like their team, they've got depth. All right? Like, insane depth, I'm saying. Like, I'm expecting in one of these games, every player on their immediate roster is going to play. That's how good their team is. Even Day'Ron Sharp. You know what? Give
Okay.
him some minutes. And meanwhile, on Philadelphia's side, honestly, I believe that half of these players actually signed the Declaration of Independence in '76 more than being on this team. Like, who is Jaden Springer and Charlie Brown?
Charlie Brown. Oh
Charlie
man.
Brown. Also hot take, James Harden's going to get injured in the playoffs.
I don't think that's really
And
that much of a hot take, but I mean,
yeah,
we'll
and
see.
with that injury concern, Brooklyn sweeps.
All right, so we got on my side we got Phoenix and 76ers, and you got Phoenix and Brooklyn.
Yep.
All right, so for mine, Phoenix or 76ers. I think they're both, again. I think the two best teams in the NBA. Honestly, maybe not so much the Sixers, but I think it's time for Phoenix to finally win one. Okay, I think they're gonna but they're both gonna be tired. They've both had long roads to the playoffs because Phoenix series it took them 5, 6, and 7, and Philly it took 4, 7, 7. So they're both gonna have played longer than usual playoffs, at least in terms of games in the series. But I think that Phoenix has a better longevity and more consistent wins because the Sixers, I think, score more in spurts. But so I think that Phoenix is going to win in 6. So.
All right, my turn. So, it's a team of Phoenix, which was a very good team in the regular season, and then you got Brooklyn, the super team, with very good depth. They are separated by 20 wins.
Mm-hmm.
Let me pull up a quick stat. It's with Kyrie Irving. It's like wins responsible for. I know there's a stat for it. Like, I forgot what the stat was, so I won't be able to check it. I think it's win shares, yeah. And yeah, so Kyrie Irving. Let's check here. So win shares. This season he had 3.3 because he didn't play as much. But if we go to like 20, let's go to 2018-19 when he was in his final year in Boston. He was responsible for 9.1 of his wins. So that stat is probably useless to most of you. But make no mistake, that is quite good. I think. And I think that Uncle Drew, ankle taker, roll B flat, can lead this team to its I don't know how many championships that Brooklyn has won, but they're gonna absolutely dominate Phoenix because they have so many players that can just score. They won't know who to guard because Mikal Bridges. I mean, they're gonna dog all over JaVale McGee. I mean, you can't. They're gonna have to put in who? Jay Crowder and Dario Saric? No. Their center's position, their power forward position is looking very bleak. And who on this team is playing power forward? None other than Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons, I think, will have a nice little series if he's there. If he's not, Andre Drummond will probably have the good game, or LaMarcus Aldridge. You see, you got a lot of depth. I'm making no sense, I know, but my reason is justified in my head. Let me get a few more reasons up here. Devin Booker. Great player.
Devin Booker.
Have the Phoenix Suns ever won a championship? Not in a while. Not with any of these players. Has JaVale McGee won a championship? Yes. Has he won a championship? No. That was LeBron's championship that he won. JaVale McGee's got his ring from LeBron. Devin Booker, not a playoff guy. Mikal Bridges, Miles Bridges' brother. That's all he's good for. Chris Paul, old, can't really contribute that much anymore. DeAndre Ayton, pretty powerful, but still young. Cameron Johnson, Cameron Payne, I think he was on the Bulls a few years ago. Jay Crowder, Dario Saric, 76er one time. Then he just fell from the two-story building. Torrey Craig, Landry Shamet, he's good at the three ball, and he's probably going to get 9 minutes per game. Elfrid Payton, he's got that. He used to have big hair, now he doesn't. I found that quite funny. Aaron Holiday, I don't know, he's Aaron Holiday. He's been in the league for 10 years, and he's still bad. Busy Biyombo should get more minutes, doesn't. And then you got Ishmael Wainwright and Gabriel Lundberg. So I'm not going to comment on those guys because they're probably not going to play. Anyways, there's me roasting the entire Suns team. As you can see, no good players.
Okay then. So we are your championship predictions. I predict the Suns are gonna take it, and Mr. Spry Sheep thinks it will be the Nets' time to shine. He thinks KD's gonna win an actual ring this time, because we all know the ones from Golden State don't actually count because they're worthless. So that is gonna be your Vihawk predictions. Thank you all for joining in Vihawk. We hope you enjoyed it here at Vihawk, your one-stop shop for all things sports. And we will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Kevin Durant won Finals MVP twice.
Bye.
Bye.